Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sauropod Squad channel. Here on the channel our theme is dinosaurs, but our passion is for a variety of games. And also welcome back to the park. We've spent an episode or two kind of away working on other projects around the park, like automating every single wood type in the game, which we have locked and loaded over in the sawmill / log storage facility. But I think it is time, guys, that we, turn our attention back to the main goal of this whole series here. We got to get back to the actual dinosaur park, and I've been doing some thinking. I've been doing some creative, letting the creative juices flow, and I want to bring you guys in on my thought of what's going to go on pretty much around us, but mainly up here, because we are going to be doing the Ceratosaurus exhibit. I mentioned that in a few episodes, but that's what we're going to be doing next, and I didn't want to just do any old exhibit. Like the Dilophosaurus, to be honest, guys, I just threw it together. I was like, I need a dinosaur. I need something quick and just like a first time exhibit. And it was super early in the server's life, so I didn't have any resources. And so it ended up being pretty basic. But now that we've got a few things automated and it's actually a lot easier to go out and get resources, because, my MMO skills are a little bit higher. I can wear armor. I can survive against enemies and stuff. Because of that, I want to spend like a way more time on each specific part of an exhibit and really think it through and think of the viewing angles and all of that. So because I was growing our forest out of a redwood forest, it made me think of places in California that I love. And there's one park that I like a little bit more than the rest. It's really special to me, and that is Yosemite. And now while Yosemite doesn't quite have giant towering redwood forests per se, what it does have is a giant waterfall. So I'm thinking this cliff face is absolutely perfect for a 2-tier waterfall. We're going to have a waterfall go all the way there, and then it's going to kind of rumble its way kind of creek-wise up to here, and then it's going to fall a little bit more. I'm thinking this chunk of the hill I'm going to actually bash out. I'm going to dig it out, re-terraform it, and make it look like, the landing point with a bunch of rocks and be a cool waterfall landing point. Check these pictures out here. Now, something I want to do with this exhibit, guys, is how I build in Minecraft is I look for reference images. So I look for things that I can do similar to stuff that I find online. I don't like copying it per se, but I might find, a new thing, a new angle from some of these pictures that I'm showing you and take those and learn from it, right? And then I can, utilize that later down the line in new builds. So when looking at these pictures, and this one in particular, I like the idea here on the final tier waterfall, the last one that's actually going to come down here. It's going to pool up in a little bit of a lake and whatnot. I think it'll be cool to have on the left side there of the picture, that could end up being kind of like the actual wall of the exhibit, made out of rock and kind of blending in, looking like an actual, feature of the exhibit. And then on the right side here could be a bunch of rocks just kind of being a rolling hill. And then I'm thinking this pulls into like a little bit of a creek, maybe a little river, and it goes over here. I kind of want to drop this down, I guess, and build like a bridge. So the main path has a bridge over the river. I think that'd be really cool. And then it'll wind its way down here. And now at this point, we're in the sauropod exhibit, and I really want it to pool up again right about here. And so from this angle, it'll be like a cool river with a bridge and a waterfall, right? Like this shot right here is going to look really, really good. And then even after this, I think it can wind into a smaller creek that eventually flows its way down into our little pond here. And that could be kind of like the resting point for the water. But yeah, this waterfall, it's gonna be a struggle, guys. Or not necessarily a struggle is a hard word to say, but it's gonna be definitely a challenge. I am really trying to kind of like stretch my creative wings here, so to speak, and I've never really done terrain generation work as big as this, right? I've never really had a used to. I've made like a tiny river once in the past, but it like didn't look good at all, and this one I really want to design out. So yeah, it's gonna be a struggle, but a very fun one. Now, my thought for the exhibit 2 is the walls. I guess I should have started with that. I'm really excited, so I'm kind of all over the place. But the walls are going to kind of run directly this way down here. And right here will be some sort of viewing pen, right? Or I keep saying viewing pen, but it's a viewing feature, right? It's a place where the humans, or in this case, probably the the illager patrols that run by, they'll have a place to walk up, and this will be a big glass window, right? And you'll be able to look at the Ceratosaurus in that like pooling area at the end of the waterfall. That'll be pretty cool. I looked up where Ceratosauruses live, and they do say they live in like forested areas, but they also live in like riverlands slash kind of swampy marshlands. So having a lot of water features, I think, just kind of fits the bill for the Ceratosaurus. The wall is going to run, of course, along here. And I might have to chop that tree down or move some things, or we'll figure it all out. But then over here, I'm thinking this hill just kind of continues the forest vibe, because I still want this to be in the redwood forest overall. The only reason we haven't done it yet is because we're working on it right now. But here's the big idea behind the whole thing. The waterfall, I guess, is big enough, literally. But right here, guys, I'm going to knock this wall out. I think I told you guys that. My idea is out front of this cave is like a big bone pit, and it's kind of looking like it's, you know, the Ceratosaurus's den, because I think we're only gonna have 2, maybe a breeding pair, or maybe a pack of like 4. I'm not really sure how many the Ceratosaurus can hold, but regardless, it's gonna be a small number. It's not gonna be a huge pack, and so it's gonna be a big cave, but, you know, not too far deep. Kind of like this image. Imagine this image is, again, one of the reference images that I'm kind of going to use while building. Obviously, this is going to have a mountain behind it, but this cave opening is kind of my idea. It's rounded, it's curved, and I really like what they've done with like the rock stalagmites and stalactites. It's looking really cool. I also want the interior to kind of look like a combination of this picture. I know it's blurry, but it does look really cool. They've got like stairs and stuff and stones in there to make it look really good, as well as this picture. Now, I'm not going to use dripstone, but the idea is kind of the same as far as like the general size and stuff. Also, look, I summoned them right on cue. There's the illagers. They're like, hey, is the park open? No, guys, go home, man. It's not open. I'll let you know when it's ready. All right, but those guys aside, well, these guys are mountain climbers. That's crazy. Where are they going? They're on a mission. But to complete this whole ensemble, by the cave entrance, leading, you know, down a little bit of a gravel hill, or a rocky hill, I should say, and pulling it to like a big, nasty bone pile, the wall will continue right here, and I'm thinking this wall is very flat, it's very straight, and what we're going to have here is, let's throw up the image, bam! We're going to have our research lab. I've told you guys that before, but it's going to look something along the lines of this. I also really like the way the vibe of this one is, like up on the hill. It's kind of the same vibe we're going for here. And then this one here, it was actually labeled Adventurous Tower, or Adventurous, like, building or whatever, on Google, but I do really like how it's got that big glass window. That's kind of my thought. Imagine that a big wide window with a balcony in front of it, and the balcony leans over a fence that leans over this part of the exhibit. I think that would be really cool. And so when you're down here in the Ceratosaurus pen, you're looking up, you're looking at a big wall with a big balcony with a big building behind it, and that building is our research lab, and it's going to look really, really cool, I think, combined all together. And then we'll have a way through the research lab at some point into like the wall that will lead down into the cave viewing portion of the exhibit. So overall, this exhibit's going to have 3 viewing areas essentially, and it's going to take, I think it's going to take a long time. I don't actually know how much I'm going to get for this episode. This might be a 2 or 3 part series to get all 3 of these done. The research lab's definitely, it's going to be its own episode. But yeah, I figured I'd kind of slow the pace down now that we're at the section of the series where I can do so, right? I can kind of get creative and like really spend my time just doing one thing, because, you know, we've got some dinosaurs, we've got the aviary, we've got the monorail up and running, we've got the quarry, we've got automatic trees. We're looking pretty good on the server, if I'm honest. So yeah, pretty excited to start this journey with you guys, and today might just be the waterfall, which those guys are already in the way. Go home, guys. Come on. So I guess this is the part of the video where I say enjoy a little bit of a time lapse as I start the waterfall, but I think I'm going to be bringing you guys in and kind of stopping the time lapse during this whole exhibit build at certain moments to kind of explain my thought and show off like cool little ideas that I've either seen from like Hermitcraft or just kind of think of on my own. I don't know. I want to make this the coolest waterfall I can, and yeah, bear with me. Let's see what I can do, yeah? All right, folks. Part one is I hesitate to say complete, but it is more done than it was before, right? I've gone ahead and not only made this waterfall section here, and I'll take you guys up there in just a second, although you definitely saw it during the time lapse. But yeah, here's the kind of the section I'm thinking it'll pool up, right? And then I even went ahead and kind of dug out a little bit of the river that I mentioned I was gonna dig out and create, right? So it goes down here, it'll pool up in the sauropod exhibit, and then way down here kind of turns into a small little creek that leads into the pond. And I'm kind of debating, I don't know, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, because I'm definitely not doing this yet, but maybe it actually continues into another creek, have another bridge right on our path along the valley edge, and then it could fall into the valley down below. Now, as far as up here goes, I wanted to continue doing like terrain work, right? Like making this look better and having more rocks. And I even want to come back through with like andesite and maybe even something like gravel, or if I can find it, some coarse dirt would be really nice. There's also like mud that I can grab. Quite a few other little add-ons that I could add in here. But this is generally kind of the idea that I wanted. I added some diorite because I think at a quick glance, it kind of nicely blends the snow with the normal stones that are going to be everywhere. It also low-key kind of looks like splashing, right? like really, really low-key looks like splashing. But yeah, it looks like kind of like, you know, the white effects that you normally see at the edges of waterfalls and just, you know, just water in general. But yeah, I also might come back here and you see how you can see through the water and you can see all the ice and the snow still behind. I'm actually thinking if I go through there and kind of cut that out even more and put stone behind it, it would be more realistic, because running water usually doesn't flow above ice. But I guess if it's like glacier level of coldness, right, it would, so maybe we don't have to mess with that. Might be just more details than are really needed to be messed with. But yeah, I made this little feature right here with the little, you know, the brick wall, and I'm thinking if I do this in a few places like I did here and here, it kind of just looks like stacked stones, right? Like a cairn, or just kind of like a protruding rock or whatever. But now, I think before I continue doing more on the actual terrain work here, I'm going to need to get this wall in. And this wall specifically, I told you guys I want it to kind of be a big rock edge, right? So that the actual Ceratosaurus, imagine I'm the Ceratosaurus, right? Rawr, right? I won't be able to go this way. I will be able to go pretty much up to here, I think. And then right around this section, I got to make maybe just a stone fence or something simple to make it so that I can't cross the water here. And then shave off this elevation so that this is more of a sheer wall, right? I'll make it look good, just like the waterfall with, like, you know, rocks and slabs and stuff like that. But I'm thinking pretty much this elevation is kind of a more of a natural wall. So instead of actually having like a fence that goes around, it's just kind of a steep cliff edge of the mountain, and that they can't get up. I'm a little worried about doing that, only because if I mess up, right, and they can, like, they find a path that they step here, then they step here, and then, oh, look, they can step there, and they can step there, and then they're just up the mountain, right, and then I gotta run away Ceratosaurus. We want to avoid that. That's not something that we want here. But yeah, that's gonna bleed all the way over to right here, which is where we punch in the wall. Wait, no, that's the... Oh, I'm getting my gaps mixed up. Only needs to lead up to, like, right here-ish, because this is where the cave is getting punched in, and then the wall will continue coming out. So I really only have to make, like, a U-shaped wall, right? For all four sides, only 3 of the sides actually have the wall. And I'm thinking, guys, for this one... Oh, I forgot I got my boots on, my snow boots. I'm thinking for this wall, it's not going to be it's not going to be as thick as the Dilophosaurus exhibit over here. Dilophosaurus I pretty much made entirely out of stone, right, because that's all we had. But at this point, we're automating iron, and I can make, I believe, andesite casings. Let's see, andesite, not casing, sorry, andesite, there it is. Andesite bars. Yeah, they just take that, and, you know, just because I'm with you guys, let's see what they look like. Hop into creative. Let's go andesite bars, because I've never actually made these before. Let's see what they look like. Oh, yeah, that looks cool. Okay, so if you imagine imagine some of these bars in between rockwork, so it actually looks like, you know, the Ceratosaurus is being contained by really, really heavy bars that it can't bite through. I think that'll look really, really good. Whoops! Oh, I'm deleting everything. All right, let's get out of creative because this is a survival series. But yeah, I think that's goal number 2. So perhaps we dive into another time lapse, maybe a shorter one this time, so you guys don't have to watch the entire thing. But I don't know. I like the music. Music's fun. Let's get time lapse in for the wall, and then after the wall, I'll come back and probably start working on the cave, but also finishing up the last bit of the river. So more building to be done. Let's get it. And welcome back, everybody. I'm pretty dang proud of this cave, I ain't even gonna lie. This took quite a while, but yeah, I think it turned out great. I've also gone ahead and like hit all the torches and stuff, except these two. This is gonna be one of the viewing sections that connect to the laboratory, right? So you imagine just kind of like a glass wall here, really, or maybe some more andesite bars, just to kind of get like a you know, an intimate look inside the Ceratosaurus's cave. I think I'm going to put a feeder right there. I got a few spots for feeders that will make our Ceratosaurus actually frequent them. But come with me and take a walk along here. You see, I got the wall up, which you saw during the time lapse. I didn't build it during the time lapse. I just kind of threw it together. But I have gone ahead and finished the water. And I've actually, let's go into spectator mode real quick. I've actually got the water going all the way down into the sauropod exhibit, which is just more turtles. They never leave. It's a turtle exhibit. This whole park is a turtle park. And then, yeah, it forms into that little creek I spoke about and winds its way down here. And, yeah, I think I might bring it down here. You can have, like, another waterfall, but I'm not too pressed about that. That might be something we can do when I actually get sauropods and put them in. Now, what I still need to do is all the vegetation, but I think I'm going to do that without the time lapse. I've given you guys enough time lapses today. I have kind of, you know, I made some pathing. It's not meant to look like a path per se, but more like the area that the dinosaurs would walk, right? Social trails, if you will, sections of parks where it's kind of sad, but it's the reality where the animals kind of, you know, they frequent the same path, and so I've got a little bit of a circle path that leads them all the way back here. But what I want to build with you guys right now is, if you take a look at my inventory, I've got bone blocks, some diorite, and some calcite, and I want to try building a bone pile here. Now it's going to be a little bit hard because of the like we have more space diagonally, but I don't want to build it diagonally because that is very, very difficult. But I think if we just kind of, I don't know, go with something like this sized. Oh, I should probably angle these, right? Because they're like logs. Let's do like this, and then yeah, maybe that's the main backbone. And let's see, we're maybe only gonna be able to have 2 ribs. Actually, what if we? I'm just building on the fly here, guys. I don't really have a total plan. I do have something next to me, like a little reference image. Like I like telling you guys, I do build with reference images. What about something like this? It can obviously be absolutely huge because it's a, you know, it's a dinosaur skeleton here. Like a rib cage is what I'm kind of thinking. We could do like that. It's kind of huge, but I kind of like it. Maybe, maybe another one. And then, actually, the way they have it on this image, hold on, this is good. This is good. We make the back end a little bit smaller. Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, that kind of looks like a bone to me. And then what I like to do here is let's come back through and let's rough it up. Actually, diorite's kind of bad, but calcite I think looks good. Just to kind of give it a little bit of different colors here and there. Just to kind of mix it up. You know how it goes in Minecraft. Not too many, though. Maybe another one like right here. Alright, yeah, that's kind of the thought I had. It's just like a big rib cage just kind of in the middle. It's almost like we brought in a brontosaurus and they just kind of, they ate it. Although, the more I'm looking at it, guys, the more, I don't know if I like this calcite. But I do think I'll leave it. Let me know what you think about the skeleton and the calcite. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it gives the overall vibe, right? So what I want to show you guys too, before we get all the rest of the vegetation is our essentially our 3 angles of the exhibit that I really wanted to focus on. So this one right here is going to be, you know, up on the science building. So this is really looking down at the bone pile and the bone pit, which is really exciting. Pretty much my thought too with the vegetation that I'm going to pretty much snap my fingers at one point after I explain this and it'll all be done. But pretty much anywhere that you see rock will only have like a fern or two, like very, very sparse vegetation. And then this, like this area right here, I just want it to be a ton of bushes, like really, really thick bushes, specifically these guys, where we'll find these ones right here, the temperate bushes. Just imagine a ton of these temperate bushes all over, so it's like a really, really, really thick hillside, essentially. And then it'll kind of get less dense as you get kind of closer to this side over here. But yeah, that is kind of the goal. But that is one view right there. Then, of course, this is a second view right here, which will be really cool. I'll put another feeder right there. First feeder by the bone pile, and then the last feeder is actually way over here. So most of the exhibit is really just not actually for viewing, right? But here is the other angle. We got to come back here and make like a viewing area somehow. Still haven't really decided what to do. I think it might be like a little building of some sort, but it's later down the line, right? And then yeah, down here I'll do my usual work that I did like in the aviary. We'll get cattails and reeds and lily pads and stones and, you know, all that vibe. And then as far as the rock work goes, I definitely made sure to continue that 3 high wall rule that I have along the whole outer edge here. So, you know, it looks kind of gradual, but hopefully if you're, actually that's 2.5. Hopefully they can't do that. But yeah, if you're, you know, a Ceratosaurus, you're not getting out of here, but you should be able to walk up here. So, you know, it's Minecraft. We'll probably see the mob like go right here and jump into the wall to try to get out, but hey, it is what it is, right? But yeah, I like it. It looks like a big retaining wall, and overall, I'm very, very pleased with how far I've come. So it's time for me to snap my fingers, guys, and get a bunch of leaves up in here So let's do a 360, and with the power and magic of editing, woo! Okay, dokie. Check it out, guys. We've got plants. All right. In my opinion, besides the areas just to view the dinosaurs, right? Like I pointed out over there, we've got the cave one, we've got the balcony or whatever. Besides those, and the spider that I hear underneath me. Hello, spider. The exhibit is done, guys. So take a look. I spent a lot of time. We've got all the cypress leaves that I pulled from our tree farm, which have come in handy to kind of pair well with our temperate bushes that I was showing you guys. These guys right here. Used up a bunch of bone meal to kind of spread these guys around and just give this place a really lush feeling, right? I didn't really want there to be much areas of the stone that didn't have a little bit of green, right? And I think it turned out really well. Like I said, I wanted this whole field or this whole hillside just to be a ton of these temperate bushes. So, I mean, for us, look, it slows me down when I go in here. This is going to be a pain to walk through. But it feels realistic to me. You know, it feels like a really, 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 really dense hillside along the river. And, you know, normally in real life, you get extra vegetation along the water, or at least you get different types of vegetation. All right, guys, so let me hop into spectator mode to give you guys kind of a grander scale, a grander view, right, of this exhibit. So still need to work on the building here, of course, but this will be one viewing area, and I'll put the feeder right there. And then over here, I worked with this angle a lot. This is one of my favorite views, and this might be the thumbnail. I don't know. It might look familiar to you guys. So we got that one going there. And then, of course, the balcony view here, kind of into the forest, just another angle of the bone pile. All right, guys, but the only thing left to do now is to hop into survival mode, get out of here, and we got to revive the Ceratosaurus. So back to the lab. Oh man, I'm being chased. I'm being chased. Guys, I told you the place is not open yet. The park is not open. Please vacant the area. Oh, I don't want to deal with this guy. Not today. You know what, sir? You are not allowed in the visitor center. Business hours are closed. You stay out there, all right? We need lab work. All right, so we should have everything we need in here. We should have, it's been a while since I've looked at here, Ceratosaurus and some bio goo. And with the power of science, we could throw that in there. And after a little bit of time, also looks like I got a new plant for us. After a little bit of time, we can introduce this guy to his habitat. Or today's the day that we get the Phalosaurus. I'm not really sure, but we'll find out soon, yeah? All right. It worked. No Phalosaurus today. We got a new Ceratosaurus egg. Yeah. Now, guys, I'm really excited because the next episode, after we finish this one up, is going to be all about the science lab, and I'm really excited about trying to build a really nice-looking modern science lab. But there's a few things I want to do in that science lab. Obviously, you know, we've outgrown, at this point in the series, we've outgrown the little attic lab that we've got going on. And so we need more storage space just to, you know, put the eggs and the DNA and separate it by, you know, Cretaceous and Jurassic and all that. Also, look, I don't really have a way over here, so that's kind of what the lily pads are for. There we go. Oh, also, before I do that, Oh, he's back! Get out of here. These guys are obnoxious. Yeah, I need to actually close this up, because this was just how I got in here while building the thing. Can't have this little guy escape already. I gotta figure out an actual door. But let's sleep the night off. Okay, well, let's actually get the feeder set up first. I'm thinking the first feeder is basically right here and can kind of be like, you know, the water area for them. And then over here, take a walk through the exhibit. I'm hoping the T-Rex actually walk through this way, or sorry, the Cerato. But let's be real, they're AI. They're probably going to wander wherever they want to wander. But if we can hide one of these in here with the bone pile, so it kind of seems like they're walking up to the bone pile to eat, that'll be cool. And then in here, once this is actually a glass window and we're kind of peering into the cave, I want this to go right there. So he also walks up for that. Okay, and I think the den is the proper place to go, so boop. Welcome to the world, little dinosaur egg. Let's wait for our Cerato. Now, I also read somewhere, I think it was on Reddit or something, so I don't know if it's actually true, but I read that warmth makes them hatch faster, so let's put the torch here and just, I don't know, we'll just see if it does anything. Also, for chicken, I only have 21 cooked chicken on me right now, but I'll go grab a ton over in that place with Ford Chomper. You know, the more I build like cool exhibits like this, the more I think back to our T-Rex, and the poor guy is just in a box. He's in like a cell, a big crate. Really, it's a bummer. But you know, one day he'll get an exhibit that looks as detailed out as this. We'll get him a girlfriend too, and we'll have a whole. Whole population of T-Rexes. We'll get there in time, right? Okay, I don't know if the torch helped, if I'm honest, but he's doing his thing. Hey, there he is. What's up, little dude? Straight to the food. Love to see it. Nice and healthy, baby. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, what I usually do is kind of wrap the episode up when we get a new dinosaur. But I'm thinking it's a lot more fun if I actually kind of wait and show you guys what this guy looks like in a few days. So yeah, let me just kind of run through time a little bit. I think I'm going to AFK over the bone farm or something, and let this guy grow. There he goes. I need to watch him for a while to make sure he doesn't actually get out. I'm pretty sure I contained him, but when you add all these new plants and stuff in there, possibly I messed up, and it would be crazy to have a Ceratosaurus roaming free. So, also, guys, think of a name for this little guy, and give me something interesting, right? I don't want to hear, oh, name it Sarah. No. Like, give me a good, interesting Ceratosaurus name. What we can check. Let me grab the Dinopedia and let me check if this is a male or female. What do we got? We've got a little male, our little Ceratosaurus dude. All right, cool. So yeah, give me a male name of this little guy as he runs away in the forest. It's gonna be real easy to lose him until he gets big. But yeah, let me know a name and I'll name him next episode. All right, guys, I gave him about half an hour to grow, and he only actually made it to like age 2 or whatever. But he's getting a little bit bigger. I think he will be fully grown at 12 days or maybe 10 days. I'm not really sure. All the dinosaurs are a little bit different. Usually got to double check on the wiki. But yeah, I've been observing him for the half hour. He really likes to climb this hill, and it had me a little worried that he wouldn't be able to like learn how to climb back down to go into here to get his food, but he figured it out. So yeah, he's pretty good, and I don't really have to worry about him, I think. I also don't think I was a little worried if he would like fall off of this and take fall damage, but I think even if he did, he would then go and eat. I was gonna eat from this. No, he's just gonna think about it. All right, well, anyway, guys, I do think that's going to end this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I put a lot of time into this one. I know it's been about a week since the last episode. I hope that's not going to be a consistent thing, but if it is, the reality is I'm behind the scenes spending a lot of time doing crazy builds like this, which are a lot of fun. But yes, guys, next episode let's do spectator. We will be working over here. I got to get a lot of quartz. I got to get a lot of white concrete. I got to get maybe even some snow, if I'm honest, up there. And we're going to make a modern, giant, 2-story lab facility. And I think the big thing that I really want to do in here, guys, is to automate fossils. The time of digging for fossils is coming to an end. We are going to get to the point where I can basically use the create mod to auto sift in the sifter sand, and that will just turn into fossils for us, which will be really cool. But I want to make it look good. I want to deck it out in here, not just have like a random sifter farm set up somewhere. It's like, nah, I want it to be in the laboratory, so we can actually walk in the laboratory and run it all and get a bunch of fossils. Because I would really like to set up more of the dinosaurs that we already have, right? We can fit 10 of the Dimorphodons. I think we can fit, actually it'll tell us. Looks like we can have 5 of Ceratosauruses, so not a huge population. That's kind of about how much I thought, 4 or 5. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I really want to get multitudes of the same dinosaur, right? Our time of just getting one dinosaur, I think, is up. I really want to start getting a bunch of them and get the sauropods as well as the stegos, and really got to finish the Jurassic section before we move on to Cretaceous. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? Very happy with this exhibit. Let me know what you guys think down below. And of course, like, subscribe, do all those fun things for us here over on the YouTube. It really does help the algorithm. We've been growing pretty well with Minecraft, and so I really appreciate you guys. Also, check out our Discord if you want to kind of hang out and vibe with us over there. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna let you get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I have been Jay. This has been the Sauropod Squad, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.